Afternoon. You can see me properly, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you let me know when to start.
Yes, sir. We are waiting for our Vice President of the IIC section, Professor Dr.
Hmm.
Amlan Chakravarti, sir, to join the
Hmm.
session. Then we will just begin, sir. I'm just calling sir also.
Okay, okay.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
Questions? Okay, thank you. So Nasti sir, can you please continue with the experimental part? If they have any queries regarding the experimental part. If you have given your attendance and you have nothing to ask, you can.
Gautam, sir. Amlan
Yes,
sir is
madam.
joining just now.
Okay, madam.
Sir, yeah, sir is confirmed. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I think I'll be needing your permission to share the screen, am I?
Sir, just for a few minutes, then we will start, sir.
Okay, okay, right.
So, good afternoon to all of you. On behalf of MHRD IIC, I want to welcome Mr. Tapas Piplai, who is the speaker of today's event. And at the same time, I want to also welcome our Vice President of MHRD IIC, Professor Amlan Chakraborty, sir. So, I would like to request to Professor Amlan Chakraborty, sir, to say a few words toward the student and also to welcome the guest, the speaker.
Good afternoon to all the participants of this August gathering. And we are privileged to have Mr. Piplai, who will be speaking on a startup entrepreneurship. And has been a pioneer in this field. I think all the students will gain a lot of inspiration and insight into building entrepreneurs. And
This call is now being recorded.
I congratulate our NIT, MHRD IIC team for organizing such a prestigious webinar. And I also, give my heartiest thanks to Mr. Piplai for agreeing to, speak on this gathering to our students. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So before starting today's session, I want to give a brief introduction about Mr. Tapas Piplai. At present, sir is the Executive Director and CEO of Capability Enhancement Center, which is at Pune. And at the same, before that, sir is also, for the last 34 years, sir is serving in different organizations as at the top management levels. His focus is always been on development of new processes and creating human resources with new leadership inputs. His areas of expertise are growth of business, probability, operations, people management, competitive strategy, SCM and cash management. He has given the speeches at different platforms. Few of them I am going to mention. He has got the invitation as guest lecturer at various auto component forums on business growth and management. He had delivered lecture at various dealers and sales force meeting and auto component industries on sales management. He has delivered keynote lectures on transformation frontiers of auto component industries and so on. So I will not take more time. I would like to request to Mr. Tapas Piplai sir to continue the session.
Good afternoon to all of you. First of all, I'd like to convey my thanks to Mr. Amlan Chakraborty, who just addressed the session. Also to Mrs. Patnaik, Sandhya Patnaik, Gautam Roy, and other assistant professors, and associate professors and the students. I may not be able to know your all names by now. Let's proceed a little bit. Again, good afternoon to all of you, and we are starting. Basically, the progression of the lecture will be, I'll be showing you the screen. I'll be also talking to you about the screen, but not necessarily it will go hand in hand, because my lecture will be more on the practical thing, and so some portion of it will be captured in the slides, some portion will be theoretical, will be captured in the slides. So the topic is interesting, no doubt the topic is interesting, and more interestingly I could see that it is the plurality of the Indian culture, that I am wearing the jacket because I am speaking to you from Delhi and you are all nearby Calcutta, so you are also interestingly perhaps enjoying the warmer climate than Delhi. It's interesting. Now the topic of our today's discussion will be just a minute. I need your permission perhaps to share the screen.
Just 1 second, sir. There was an internet issue. That's why I was not.
Yeah. However, let's continue with the discussion and we will share the screen after that. The heading of the discussion is Entrepreneurship and Innovation as a Career Opportunity, especially keeping the vision of India at 100. India at 100 means India at 100 years of age, right from 1947.
Sir, may I interrupt? Sir, from my side, the permission is given already to us there.
Okay, right. Now let's go to the slide. You can see I trust, right? You can see the screen.
No, sir, not yet, sir. Maybe it's taking time, sir.
Just a minute. Can you just guide me, Gautam, little bit for how to share the screen?
Yes, sir. Sir, see there are 3 dots. If you click there, then you will get.
Yeah, below, right?
Yes, sir. Just beside that there is an arrow sign. In a box, rectangular box, there is an arrow sign.
No, there's a telephone, that full screen, that one.
Present now. If you touch there, it will show present now. The first option is that one. If you
Entire screen.
yes, sir.
But can't share your screen. You must get the permission they're writing.
From my side, it is showing. Just 1 second, sir. Again, I'm checking.
Yeah.
Now is it okay, sir? Can I share now?
Can you see now?
No, sir. It is not yet visible.
Oh.
Sir, we'll try to solve this issue in a few minutes, sir. So please give us some time. This.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Gautam.
Yes, sir.
It seems it is not getting connected. Maybe some internet issues. Can I send you the presentation?
Sir, we are trying to make you host. Then I think it will be possible to share. We are just making you host.
Okay, okay. I'm waiting.
Just 1 second, sir. So now you are host. You can share. You can change the setting also as required.
Yeah, Gautam.
Students, just wait for a few more minutes. We are going to share the screen. Don't leave.
Yeah, Gautam, tell me when to start. Now it is being shared, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, come to the full. I think you can come to the full screen, no issue.
Okay, sir. Sir, is it okay?
Yeah, it is okay. I'll tell you when to shift the screen or the slide. Then you can shift it.
Okay, sir.
However, sorry for the late. Though I am not fully responsible, let us put the entire blame on internet. However, again my respect to Mr. Amlan Chakraborty, Miss Sandhya Patnaik, Gautam Roy, who were instrumental in coordinating the entire presentation. Now let's start it. The entire heading is called India at 100, an emerging role of engineers. And 3 E's are being addressed here. One is the entrepreneurship, enterprise, and employment generation, or in other words, the employment. So while talking about the title of the slide, India at 100 means what is the vision of India at its 100 years of age, and what is the role of engineers in terms of entrepreneurship, enterprise, that is the actual project, and the employment generation. So we'll be going one by one to it. Let me also quickly introduce myself. Let's go to the next slide.
Sir, one second. Sir, this one?
Now next one. This is the first slide. Now let's go to the next slide, second one. No.
Sir, I have already changed the slide. Which one is coming from?
You changed the slide. I am not getting the slide here. Maybe about me, is it?
No, sir. Let me try.
Heading of the slide is?
Just 1 second, sir. Now is it okay, sir?
No, I'm not getting the second slide.
So this one is the first screen. Then
Just a minute. This is not the first screen. First is the India at 100. This is the first screen.
this one second screen.
About Taposh Piplai, right?
Yes.
No.
Then should I go to the next one?
It seems to be very slow. Can you just start again?
Yes, sir. Sure. This is first one. This is second one.
No, it is all stuck. I'm unable to see anything. This is the second, correct. Now let's continue with the presentation. Here I am talking about myself a little bit. Presently I am at the Capability Enhancement Center in Pune. I am working there as the Executive Director and CEO. And also my previous employment was in Kane Taro for a brief period, not more than 2 years. But prior to that, now I want to talk about the innovation and entrepreneurship. I joined TVS Group in the Lucas TVS Limited and spent there almost 20 years. And as the senior vice president and the CEO and the business side, there we took up this entrepreneurship. Now let me tell you the entire story building of this entrepreneurship, how it came up. Instead of getting into the further details of the slides, which I will in any case go through, but let me tell you about my tenure at Lucas TVS, here I was suddenly asked one day by my chairman to start one innovation incubator, some sort of project, and which project is totally lined up with the core business area of Lucas TVS, which is nothing but the automobile ancillary. Hope you are all clear with me. Automobile ancillary, there I have been asked one day, I was asked by the entire board to start one small setup within the Lucas TVS where we can deal with some new project. Now, the way I progressed, let me tell you. First, I saw that Lucas TVS or the TVS group, which is the largest auto electrical manufacturers, and we were having almost all the customers in our hand, right from BMW to Maruti to Tata Motors, everybody, Ford. Now I thought that how to start, how to align with the core strength of Lucas TVS. I had to choose one aspect, that is the auto electrical. Now, this auto electrical is a big area. More than 35 motors are there in the auto electrical segment of any vehicle. So I started thinking, then I saw that one radiator is there in front of the vehicle, and that radiator is nothing but getting cooled by a fan rotation. You might have all seen in the vehicle. The fan is fitted just behind the radiator, which is cooling. Let me repeat, it is cooling the air from the atmosphere and cooling the radiator. So having thought about that, which has got not much of Indian manufacturers, so I started globetrotting almost to find out who are the leaders in the world and whether their presence are there in India. Then I identified there are three major players. One is Bosch, another is the Siemens, another is Gate Italy. And when we started now screening the customer, we saw that Ford and quite a few other customers, General Motors, they're importing, in fact, the Tata Motors as well. Maruti, they're importing from Japan. And these people are importing from Europe. So I selected one manufacturer, which is called Gate Italy, which became afterwards the Gate TV. Selected that one and I started visiting them. And after one or two visits, I could see there is enough scope for cost reduction from the import point of view. That means if I am importing today, that time if I correctly recollect, the price was around 3,200, and if we do it in India, the price or the cost comes down to 1,700, because the molded parts will be done locally, and the motor can be, even if I start importing, that also the price will give me 50% benefit. Now you try to understand how the logic is unfolding for the entrepreneurship and the innovation. For us, that product is new. For entire India, that product has not been localized. It is still coming from a globalized source. So we started thinking about that particular product, and believe me, I was having only 3 persons with me, and we were giving a big land and as the factory. But that factory is nothing but a quite shabby condition. Not a single machinery is there, and neither the building is also very perfect in one of the corners of Chennai. So what I did, after that I have formally approached Ford India that if I localize this particular product in Chennai, where their factory is, will they help me with the order? Then they told, yes, based on the price and based on the quality inspection, I will. So then we told that, you know that there is a big aspect of the manufacturing is that make or buy decision. How much you will make and how much you will buy. So I decided to buy almost 90% of my product, and we would like to make 10% of the product in Chennai nearby areas. So accordingly I approached Ford. They told that they may explore the proposal. Then I had gone again to Italy to get SRL company, which is a part of Johnson Electric, which is one of the largest company in the world. So they also agreed that okay, fine. Otherwise, today or tomorrow it will be localized in India. It is better to retain the market. Then we started working out on the manufacturing strategy and the transportation strategy. You just see that how it is coming one by one, which I will summarize little later. So once that transportation thing, food is very particular that time. The transportation, they will collect the material from our factory, which is just not even 1 kilometer away, and they will take it and they will feed it in Vistion, which is the OE supplier, not the OEM directly, and Vistion will supply to Ford, Ford will supply to the dealer or distributor. And you won't believe that perfectly work with the price. And second thing comes that who will make the investment? That time one major, it is in the year I'm telling about 2001 or 2, that time one major machine which is supposed to come from Europe, that will cost around 2 crores. And I was not having much money, neither I thought that I will not ask my promoters or the TVS owners to give me that money, though they were willing to give. So we had gone to the Ford again, to the customer, and asked that if I execute some contract, will they allow this funding of 2 crores and they will slowly adjust this from the supplies, which they agreed, and it continued for long. And that is one of the areas they finally made us through, but with a peculiar note that quality-wise, we should be 100% as per their expectation. And as I was having 90% from the same source, importing, so it was perfectly okay. And 10%, which has to do the balancing, you might have read in your mechanical engineering, that balancing in order to reduce the engage, that is noise, vibration and harshness. And that we started working on it, and we took the full help from the customer. You want to repeat? I took the full help from the customer. That is Ford. Ford is having their big globalized source, and this particular balancing part they used to address from their European factory. So they brought the people from there, looking at the price reduction they will get, cost they will get, and immediate supply they will get. They will not have to keep a big stock, and they immediately brought their 2 engineers down from Germany, and they started working with us almost for 40 days how to reduce the harshness and the vibration and the noise by perfectly balancing the dynamic part of it. And it was done perfectly okay. One is inside the motor, that is the electrical balancing, and another electrical balancing includes your electromagnetic induction and everything. Second part is the fan part of it. Fan is the molded part locally, so that mold needs to be balanced, and how nicely it worked together, that was also one of the things that they should see. And to be very frank, we started our production within a period of almost 1 year after erecting some temporary factory shed, etc., and they approved the source. And like that, slowly we started that, and when I left that organization, from the 3% initial, it came to around 145. And the turnover, which I started with close to 1 crore, it ran up to 200 crores, because by that time I spread our wings all across India and also to BMW and partly to Fiat Italy. And we started our supply, almost all, Mahindra, all models, Tata Motors, all models, all, whatever we know. And it was a perfect win-win situation for the customer as well as for us. If you look at only at the profit, I would have failed in that venture altogether. So, like that, this particular entrepreneurship innovation, and as I told you, the employment created from 3 to 145 is a huge creation of employment, which is the local. And slowly we opened our one factory at Pune, and like that we started. Now this is just to start my hand-on experience with your entrepreneurship, innovation, and the employment opportunity. And let's go a little bit further. That what are the basic things it has to undergo. Let's go to the next slide. Go to the next slide, please. Go to the next slide.
Yes, sir. I have changed it. Somehow it is not
It is not yet come.
Just one second.
Yeah, this is today's market condition, which we call it VUCA is combination, that is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And these four are the major characteristics of market today. Any innovation you take up, any running the company you take up, any new thing you try to implement, you cannot avoid this VUCA. And now this needs to be transformed into vision, into understanding of the market, that is size and the task, etc., and the clarity of the customer's communication, and the ambiguity needs to be over. So this VUCA 1 should be transformed into VUCA 2 vision, which is very important. Now next. Now, as we all know the name of Steve Jobs, who told that there is a distinct difference between a leader and a follower. Leader always thinks, he always tries to do something, and followers, they are all following. So the very famous line, innovators distinguish themselves between a leader and a follower. Innovation means it is an idea followed by a startup, that is the enterprise. Now entrepreneurship generates at the same time the new business and the employment, and interestingly, it also grows the economy. I will not say growth. Growth means so many things. So it is the economy which grows. And please try to understand, to all my students who are there listening to my lecture attentively, that nobody is born entrepreneur. You have to create that entrepreneurship within yourself. Whatever failure you see, try to see the opportunities in it. There is so many Bengali proverbs or English proverbs are there, which I am not repeating. So basically, you have to see that you create something new. Always look at the things in the new perspective, new vision. So this innovation will lead to the economic growth, and which leads to a new social strata of the people, which is the community development or the social change it comes. Next slide. Now, in 2021, you might be knowing that India leapfrogged to 46th rank in the Global Innovation Index. It is the 81st position in the last year. So from 81st position, we had gone to the 46th position in the Global Innovation Index. There is one index, it is always there, which measures the innovativeness of that particular country. And while doing so, and we need to add a few very fine cut technologies, like now we are in the digital technology era. We have to think about the nanotechnology. We have to think about the Internet of Things, that is IoT. We have to think about the artificial intelligence. I have touched upon this particular terminology a little bit later. Machine learning and big data. Now, hopefully you know a little bit about artificial engineering, artificial intelligence. That means the machine itself is thinking. And what about the machine learning? That is, machine is keeping in stock the entire past data. That means, in a very simple way, if you today start playing with Robo, the chess, maybe the first 2, 3, 4, 5 games you will win, but later on it is very difficult, because the 10 initial games, all your moves, 10 or 20, whatever it is, they're all keeping a human being who can learn, who can think the deeper learning, that is, there are two aspects. One is the machine learning part, where it is an accumulation and the learning from the previous methods. And the next one is the when you are thinking about neural thinking. That means when you had gone down to the detail and you are seeing the logic, how your neural matters in your brain are reacting to each other. And by that you are coming to some sort of logic system. However, we'll go little details later on, perhaps, if the time permits. Then the ecosystem, that is the industry, academia, government, and the various competing startups, that also are the new things that we should think about. And you might be knowing that there are certain missions rolled out by the government, that is Atal Innovation Mission in the name of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. And next one is the Accelerating Growth of New India Innovations, that is AGNI it is called. And the new regime of IPR, that IPR means intellectual property right. So these are the few things that have also come up in the recent period. And if we talk about the startups, I think you know quite a few names by now, which there is no point repeating. However, I am just mentioning that first one is the Ola. You know that by taking the advantage of our not getting the taxi on time, the new innovations came, which is now getting transformed into the new ecosystem where we get this, where we are getting this Ola cabs, but Uber is in any case there for a long time. Then it comes the Flipkart. Flipkart is the e-commerce machinery or the thing which they are actually buying from different shops and getting it delivered to your place. There is a Flipkart. Then Zomato. Zomato is basically transporting all your requirement from different shops to your house, including mainly the food areas. Then Snapdeals, Paytm. I believe you know all these things much better than me, what I am saying. And there is one more I can remember, that is Zomato, that is who are taking the delivery, which is basically a delivery app, and combining the e-commerce. So all these things are a part of today the part of your ecosystem where the entrepreneurship is growing. Can we go to the next? So in order to cut short the things, let's think that innovation, what it is. It is basically a building blocks, okay, of the business, which starts with the idea generation. Ideas should be generated within you and taking the lessons from the environment. And that is the idea generation. Then you have to develop your own conviction. Conviction means at any cost, in spite of the failures, you should get it done. So that is the conviction. Then you should have a vision. Where would you like to go? Like we started today's discussion with India at 100. That means at 100 years age, what is our vision? If you think that Indian starting of Indian planning, it started in 1950 with a 5-year plan. That means there is a vision where you'd like to be. And if you really see the vision, the outcome of it, all these steel plants, all whatever you can see today, these are all part of the vision. Then what is the value you are proposing? Value proposition. This is also a very important part. That what way it is creating the value and it is differentiating from the existing value, whichever is there in the market. So in case you want to do anything you are making one management institute. Now what way it is different from IIM? What way it is different from others? Would you be able to clear cut your vision that these are the extra value addition which I am adding, which will create the differentiation between the earlier institute and my institute, whichever is coming up. So this is all put together as a basic building box of the innovation. Next comes the product innovation. That means there are usually 4 attributes. One is the product, another is the technology, another is the source, another is the market. Product means it can be a totally new product or it can be a variation of the existing product. Naturally, the technology can also be different. As I told you, there are various ways you can make today's technology. And next is the new source. That is, the source can be different. Today you are buying your raw material or the components from somebody. Tomorrow you will be buying from others. And the others, they have already instilled that particular skill within them. So having instilled that skill, so when you are buying it from the new source, it is virtually a lot of value added product you are getting. Similarly, in the new market, today you are buying it from or selling it to India, tomorrow maybe Indonesia, maybe third day it is Europe. So you are venturing the new market. So these are the 4 basic tenets of the product innovation. Now can we go to the next? When we are talking about we are talking about any entrepreneur like you who are in the nascent stage to become the entrepreneur tomorrow, first quality what you should have, that you should be innovative enough. You should think new. Let it be a nonsense thinking. Nonsense line doesn't matter. It can be totally new. Let people laugh at you, but new things should be there, and it should be properly innovated. Next one comes the risk calculation. This is little bit, it requires a skill which I feel you might have studied by now, how the risk is getting calculated, or in the risk calculation in the pure statistical terms, how in the industry we are doing the standard deviation from the zero risk to the present risk. And third one is typically the opportunity and threat, that is a SWOT analysis. If you can do that, is another ideal thing. But one more thing you should have, that is a business plan. Year to year quantity growth, year to year product addition. Like if you have gone to any factory, you will see that there are different stages in the factory. Say there are 20 machines. From first machine and the 20th machine, you are getting the final product. And in the third and the 8th and the 10th, perhaps, you are adding some new products. So this is nothing but then this is a major thing. That means each and every places you are adding the product. What is the quantity? How it will be delivered to the line? That is the business plan you should have. Similarly, what should be your turnover tomorrow? What should be your profitability day after? How will you reduce your sourcing base, which is one of the major criteria which we used to follow in the TVS group, that how will you reduce your supplier base? That means if there are typically 4 supplier base, first is the OE manufacturers, say for example car, say for example Maruti. Maruti is the OEM. Now to Maruti, there are some suppliers who are supplying as a sub-assembly. They are called the tier 1. Now comes to the tier 2. Tier 2 means they are supplying the parts to the tier 1. And they are all supplying with the almost zero defect, the high level of accuracy. And third one is the tier 2, tier 3. Like that, last one is the tier 4, which are the basic raw material supplier. Like when you are doing the steel, when you are doing the car, automobile. Now, the people who are supplying you this steel, they are the last. And usually it is said that these people and the OEM, they are having the highest bargaining power today. However, that will come to the further details when you will be working on that. So next part comes to the organization. You have to build up an organization, and that is one of your functions. Then you have to do the check and control. Continuously you have to check and the control of the flow. Production is nothing but a flow management. Business is nothing but a flow management. Let us try to understand. Entrepreneurship is nothing but a flow management. In that flow, you have to start looking at the check and the control part of it. And final comes the Deming's theory, that is a PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check and action. It is a continuous cycle which rotates. So basically these are the 5 or 6 or 7 functions of any entrepreneur. Innovations, risk calculation, opportunities, threat, and business plan, organization, again, the check and control PDCA. And there are three types, like within you. The entrepreneurship also can be divided into three parts. One is a novice. Say this is the first year you are coming for the business, so it's a novice. And habitual. They are continuously, they try this, that, and no failure they are taking as a failure. They are taking the lessons learned from that. And then finally, it is a part of the family. Say if you are born in Tata family or Birla family or Godrej family, it is unheard of that you have gone for a job. You usually try the business and mostly will succeed because you are having a huge pool of learning. And what are the setups? If I now talk about the, say if you think that today's era is nothing but a capitalist era, and when we started thinking about the capitalist era, you think maybe 200 years back in India itself, we were having the father as the person who is making the sari, and his son will also develop that. His grandson will also develop that. That is a cottage company. Basically, it is a cottage capitalism or cottage creation of wealth by which we are making that company. Second is a large potential. That means, say, when the Tatas, they started the steel plant, they never thought it in a small way. It is a very big way. It is a large potential. There is another startup they started. Actually, when I thought about my startup project, I never thought it is a large. I thought it is a small way. But eventually it became large because of our huge customer base. Third one is the lifestyle product. That is also a part of the start. Can we go to the next? However, am I moving faster? You are all understanding what I am saying basically.
Yes, sir, it's fine, sir. We are understanding, sir.
Yeah. Now, let's take about the one more project which is very interesting. That is, you must have seen OYO, right? That is nothing but a global hospitality giant which drastically transformed the hotels and the home business from so many numbers now. If you are having a big house, that is, and you don't know how to really unlock its capital or its worth, but you do not want to sell. So maybe the OYO, it is an opportunity for those people. And they are converting their maybe the first floor, second floor, ground floor into the hospitality business. That is another startup they are trying. And now we can see the OYO almost spreading all across the country. Everywhere we can see, I don't know much about the Calcutta, the city of Calcutta. You must be also having OYO a lot. But this is also a great giant. And it is giving almost end-to-end solution for the hospitality. That you can book it, you can commit, and you can also stay there. Then another is the cosmetics, the apps. Now you are talking about the apps which are Nykaa or others, through which you can order. That creation of apps is also a great thing. That also a business opportunity which you can all think about as one of the vision. Then another is the Niramoy. You might have heard during the period of this present pandemic that software to detect the breast cancer at a very earlier stage. It is basically the context of it. It was done by a very small group, Niramoy project, and during the COVID outbreak, it also enlarged its area of operation to other things as well. So like this, you are talking about the entrepreneurship in a big way. But what makes all these things as a successful entrepreneur, that one should also touch upon. One is that idea generation, as I told you. Second is, again I'm repeating, the conviction, then the vision, then the value proposition, differentiation, as I told you, and finally it needs to convert into the business model. I repeat, it's a business model, it needs to be converted. Now, but there are few caution words you should also think. That is, do not be a generalist. Don't think in a very general way. Be a specialist. Think about small thing, but think in a very special way. Special way, special thing. Don't think just which has been thought by all the people in the earlier days. And that is one of the major thing for the entrepreneurship. Either your process engineering or your product engineering or your packaging engineering or your delivery engineering, everything should be unique. I repeat, unique. Think about those things which may not be there in the whole of India, or it may not be there in Europe as well, or it might be there in the remote corner of Europe or US, but it has not come to India. So like this, you can add n number of innovative ideas, but there will be a part which is purely yours. Just outsourcing from US and starting this is certainly a new idea, no doubt about it, because you are doing it with but you have to add some sort of transportation or some sort of value to the product which can tell, yes, it is something new for you. And it is also said by the same Apple manufacturers that taste fail also fast and adjust also fast. That means whenever you are thinking about a new product, taste it. Taste it either in the lab or you taste it in the torture condition, whatever it is, and fail it. If you are failing fast, it is a great thing. And third one, it is adjust first. I am giving you again my experience about that radiator fan, which was developed by us to a great extent, almost taking the so much of idea also from our designer who is abroad. After designing and doing the process design, then we started testing it in Rajasthan, hot summer in Rajasthan and the cold winter in the Leh. And we started observing what is the failure it is giving. And the moment the failures are captured, which are not well within the design it is passing. And if I talk about the engineering language, say 5 plus minus 1, that means 4 and 6, it should fall. Now, if it is 3, is it failing all or a percentage is failing? Now the percentage is failing, whether that can also be arrested, which is beyond your specification, which is beyond your tolerance limit. Now if we can do that, by that we can design a product which will have a very less warranty failures. You understand, no? So these are the new things you should also add, so we are talking about that taste fast, fail fast and adjust also first. And don't try to sell everybody. Those who are asking one, don't sell to them. You can't sell. You cannot make your specification so large, your tolerance so large. It cannot be sold. So whenever you are thinking about the new product, new idea, entrepreneurship, be absolutely focused that I am giving 4 to 6 tolerance, but my product is okay from 3. But beyond 3, 2, it is very difficult. We cannot give the guarantee. So, and then your value proposition also will tell you who is your customer. Are they housewives? Are they students? Are they teachers? Because everybody has got a different lifestyle. Try to capture those newness in the lifestyle. Say the lifestyle of the people as you are all in Calcutta, I am telling, if the person is staying in Alipur and the another person is staying in Newtown in Salt Lake, capture that real-time data. You have to go to the field and capture those data before you are incorporating those things in your drawing board. It is very important thing. So business modeling, cost structure, market entry, connection and the revenue stream. These are another very important things that you should all think about before launching a product. Say if there is an unexpected failure, at the same time unexpected success, don't take it as a normal thing. It may not be a normal. But you should know what are the 5 whys. Why? that why it has happened. Let it be a fishbone diagram of why, which you might be knowing. Quality assurance and quality projects I'm not talking about. QCPC areas, you know, I'm very sure by now. So just try to understand the expected or the actual success and failure, or incongruity between the actual happens and what is supposed to happen. You are supposed to reach to your, maybe the lecture hall, but you could not reach on time. There must be some reason. Try to address those reasons next time, instead of crying or instead of showing the anger. So why it has happened? So everywhere go by why. The deficiency in a process should not be taken as a granted. That deficiency you need to address. So hopefully I have covered all the areas whatever I wanted to say. Let's go to the this slide, that when we are talking about the strategy is a very important thing, that we follow the same process. If we follow the same process, please understand, you will reach the same goal. So if you want to do something new, try to improve the process, maybe a delta, maybe a whole. So accordingly, there will be an iota of change in your goal, or there will be a, there will be maybe a major shift from your existing goal. So these are the major orbit shifting result if you want to achieve, to make your idea a really an unique one. Then you have to think about the new process as well. Please understand, until the process is changed, the product cannot be changed. That might be a 1 in 100, you may strike a very good result, but that cannot be a regular product. So process, you have to think about the process management. Let's go to the next slide. Strategic vision, most of the things I have already covered, that you should innovate fast, don't waste your time, start discussion on the innovation and try to pick up the best innovation. And you should be the early investor. Please try to understand. If you are not an early investor, you cannot reach your goal on time. Now here one thing is very important, which I would like to add now, that in any way, if you are talking about the innovation, if you are talking about the investment, what you need really is the money. Third one is the monetary part, that investment amount. Now, that when you are talking about that funding, you have to think about the big way. If it is something like, I'm sorry, just a minute. So you need to think about all these things. And investor, that is a funding. That funding is also an important part, which I have not mentioned much, because I'm not the right person for that funding, and I got my funding from my customer in advance. So that way we have sold our project to the customer in such a way that we got the funding. Now there are various new things are coming. You should all think. One is the solar energy. Another is the chip manufacturing. Another is that your artificial intelligence, all involving all these things, digital, involving all these things, new project. Think in those lines. Don't think about the same rickshaw puller in the earlier days. You think about how to add electricity in it, or how to, rather in a very absurd way today, how to navigate that particular rickshaw pulling sitting at home. That also, if you can do, that would be a great one. So you need to address this chip manufacturing, part of chip manufacturing. I'm not talking from beginning to start all the chip to be manufactured by you in-house. It can be a part. It can be make or buy decision. It can be outsourcing. Similarly, solar energy. Similarly, now the decarbonization of the climate. Climate is a very important thing, climate energy. Hope you are all reading the books or the articles. We can have another nice lecture on the this sort of decarbonization or the climate change. Then the size of the market will be very big, and layered demand will be created in all the categories of the customer. Because in India, one thing you should be very clear that the wealth distribution is not equal. Inequality in India is very high in wealth distribution. It is very much skewed, right? So there are different new products are coming. Different new products will be evolving. Different new products will be innovating. I have so far not used the word inventing. Invention is different. Innovation is different. I am talking about the innovation. Now treating people as a member of the egalitarian society, that means equal society. Everybody is equal in this society. That is usually it is a little far cry. You don't have to think about that. First, you should think how to get into the area of decarbonization or the area of solar energy manufacturing or the new things like this, which has not come to India in a big way. Now you have to really. Now India is called, it is a labor-based country, right? It is a third world country. Now you should think about how to graduate the skill-based country. You should have the skill, and how will you reduce the climate pollutant? Otherwise, you cannot really go further today. India will be having its own problem. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, while talking about the decarbonization, etc., we know about usually the nitrate, one area, then the CO2 is another area. These are the areas which needs to be reduced a lot. Today, in our entire jungle of pollutants, which is approximately, if I remember correctly, 51 billion tons 2-3 years back. Out of that, 31% is the concrete jungle, 27% is the power generation. It is a huge area which is generating the pollutants. That means when we are burning the oil, petroleum, coal, all these things, now in the recent meeting in the Glasgow, they have taken the vow to reduce the coal extraction slowly. Now, these three areas, if you think how to really add your footprint to this, you will be able to reduce the carbon footprint, no doubt. So, in my opinion, your addition of footprint should reduce the carbon footprint in the society. That is very important. And once you go through this sort of books, like Bill Gates is also having one book on the CO2 equivalent. That one should go through it. That 51 billion you should be able to reduce. Here, one more aspect is there, which is called the carbon neutrality or carbon zero. Carbon zero means not from everywhere you have to reduce the carbon. You have to reduce the carbon emission. At the same time, you have to increase the areas where the zero carbon, say, when you are using the tidal energy, when you are using the other energy sources by which you can generate the power. So that is also a very important area by which you can reduce it, which can reduce the net effect of CO2 equivalent generation. So that is also another area for your area of innovation. Let's go to the next slide. So in a short way, sourcing, quality inspection, inbound, outbound logistics, manufacturing, packaging, and the last one is the manufacturing system engineering, which is calculating all this cycle time, etc., which is another area I'm not touching upon today. So these are the few verticals. One engineer should be highly thorough. Otherwise, you cannot do any innovation so easily. Backed by your new ideas. Idea should be there. Conviction should be there in all these areas. Otherwise, it is very difficult. Now, next slide. We talk about the business ethics. We are now coming to the end of the discussion slowly. Business ethics means we are having a social responsibility, voluntary responsibility. Just a minute. voluntary responsibility, ethical responsibility, legal responsibility, and the economic responsibility. It is very clear from all these four lines that what exactly the social responsibility means. Second one is the business ethics. You have to go by the formal law of the society, whatever is already inscripted. That you have to go through it. You have to go through the morality. Everything is not written there in our books of constitution or our regular day-to-day interaction. There is one area which is beyond that. There is a morality. We feel a few areas are immoral. We should not encourage the immoral things. Morality should be there. These are all the part of business ethics. Third one is the society. Society you have to think about, not only your own company, you have to think about the area outside your company. And you have to be reflective your self-judgment. Self-judgment is also another important area. Next, go to the next slide. I am not going into the details of it. There are already a process, quality control and quality assurance, which is a part of your conviction for any entrepreneurship. You have to think about the business focus, that is, which will cover the auditing of 3 P's. 3 P's means people, about the planet, about the profit. Earlier days it was only profit. Nowadays the accounting is getting developed to cover the 3 areas. The people, that means people satisfaction, people going, coming, etc., etc. Then the planet, that is a part of the how you are taking care of soil, how you are taking care of air, how you are taking care of water. Third one is the profit. That profit means economic value addition, how much value you are adding to your investment, total investment. Third one is the technology. There should be a short term, there should be a mid-term technology, there should be a long-term technology to run your new incubating ideas. Similarly, the functions are, as you all know about it, there is a marketing, sales, finance, operation, accounting, secretarial, HR. Next. Let's go to the only one point here I'd like to mention, that is, you should be always very careful on the material cost contribution, VAVE. That means continuously it should be in the downward curve. You have to always add value, and you do the value engineering, how to reduce, reuse, or the 3 R's I forgot now. Those 3 R's, how to apply to your own process or own project to reduce the material cost. That VAVE projects are very important, and also one more is also told by the foreign manufacturers, that is your VAVE and the lessons learned document. All your past lessons should be measured and written in quantitative form. This will all give you your new project, whatever you are taking up. If you are having all these systems, it will really give a very big edge over others. And you have to always think about your operational efficiency, that is, what is your downtime, what is your rejection time thing, and what is your idling time. All these 3 are giving the OEE, operational efficiency, original equipment efficiency, which is actually implemented by Ford first. Now it is almost everybody. And lower operating cost, you all know. I am not repeating that thing again. Next, go to the next slide. This is data science. One is the important thing. Whenever you think about your new project or any new thing, you always think about how to apply the computer science, where your mathematics and statistics knowledge will be implemented, and what is the business knowledge and business domain depth where you are applying. And this has got a various combination which will give you the machine learning, which will give you the software development, etc., traditional research, and also the outcome of all these 3 circles, as you can see, is the data science. So that also is a very important thing for you to learn. Next slide, please. You might be knowing the 4O or the 4th stage of industry. Now we are going to the fourth stage. First stage was something, second, third, now it is called fourth. Now fourth stage is giving us the scope a huge way. That is a big data analysis, the artificial intelligence, 3D printing, machine learning, robotics, Internet of Things or IoT and the cloud, blockchain, other so many other areas. Try to add this area's skill into your innovative business ideas. That will give you a very big scope for the robustness of your design or design flow. It will give you a very large data pool management. It will give you the scalability of the process. It is very important. If you cannot scale production high, there is no point, because it will be running. People will not think about investing in your company in a big way. Then the speed, operational speed should be very high, cycle time reduction, mistake proofing mechanism should be very robust. All these things you have to think about when you are thinking about the new project or a new area of thinking. Yeah, let's go to the next. Go to the next. Next.
Sir,
Yeah, next.
so it is forwarded already, sir.
Go to the next. I don't
Okay.
think it is already been addressed. Yeah, but I think I'll just touch upon these areas, that focus areas, what you should have. Please understand always there should be differentiation. If you can differentiate yourself from others, then only people will look at you. Your marketing will be done at least 1/3. People will look at you, people will think about you, people will take that innovative approach to practice your product. Now it should have a lower operating cost, as I told you, lower rejection, lower power consumption, and maintenance of MFTGI means machine tool, machine fixture tools, then jigs, all put together, instrument, pressure in the line, all put together will be your MFTGI, and that you have to see. Absenteeism should be less, cycle and turnaround period, material. These are the typical things which are required for the lower operating cost. More you go through the, it is a big area, let me tell you, this innovation and entrepreneurship is not a very small area. It is a very big area. You have to really work very hard for addressing one after another areas like process failure modes, OK, Kappa, small value automation, which is called the low cost automation, LCA, in the line, not always an automated project. Like that, you have to go through with the first objective quality, that is, first time it should be through. You should not try out. First time it should be through. Your analysis power should be that good. And you should always allow the continuous improvement or Kaizen to happen. Next. Customer centricity. I am not repeating this particular slide because you all know that you need your customer. You need to read your customer's mind. You need to know your customers proactively before customers started thinking about it. So these are the areas, and privacy of the customer you need to respect. You cannot just start telling everybody what you are learning from X customer or Y customer. These are the very important areas, and communication should always be on by all your employees, not only the marketing part, all your employees with the customer. There should be one suggestion box that everybody is now doing, which you also be knowing perhaps is a part of your total productive management or total quality management, that is TQM or TPM, that you should always take the suggestion not only from your employees, management staff, but below the line and also from suppliers and outside. Always you should take this. By that only you can improve your customer centricity, which in a process will improve your that entrepreneurial project, or you will be able to reach in a very solid way to your India 100 vision. Now everybody is talking about India 100 vision, and lots of funding is also being made available by the Delhi government. So you need to get into that with a very solid project report, and you have to make yourself through by visiting a little bit more times where your professors or your employment department can also help you. You have to make the doors open of the government bureaucracy to listen to you, to lend their ears to you. Let's go to the next. So the major changes which today can be summarized is a big change is coming in the environment, big change is coming in the ecological imbalance. Ecological imbalance, as I told you already, there are n number of rules are being formulated which are global, by which you can also have your own learning. Then the carbon footprint is increasing. That is a concern area that needs to be reduced, where you can also play your role. It can be in the form of product, it can be in the form of consultancy, it can be in the form of your expertise. Developing that now the ozone layer is depleting, which is also creating lots of problem in terms of increasing the heat. Please understand, from ice age till date, I think there is only 8-degree change in the temperature, which has created this big change in the environment. So, therefore, this ozone layer depletion and the sun rays coming directly to you and not going back perhaps to the, and staying here like your effect of greenhouse. So that is also creating a big problem. Try to be a part of that. How you can reduce, how you can advise the people to reduce it. That moreover your petroleum and coal reserve, which are creating more of this sort of problem, that pollutant problem of 2.5 particulate, that also needs to be reduced. There also can give your consultancy. That is also another area where you can really work. And petroleum and coal in any case will be, tomorrow it will be changed. It will be changed to some sort of perhaps your tidal wave energy or your nuclear energy or something. Air, soil and water, as I told you, now there are even, you have to take the certification for this air, soil and water before you start in a startup organization. Next. So in order to conclude, let me tell you, we do have an excellent and unique combination of academic and industry here as well as in India, and they must work together hand in hand to strengthen the synergic collaboration to create a proper technological and socio-economic atmosphere to facilitate entrepreneur ecosystem. This is the first point I am concluding today, and with the finest minds of budding engineers. I think you are all finest minds in front of me, maybe digitally. I sincerely hope that an ecosystem will be generated to help grow the innovations and entrepreneurship environment, and it will generate an excellent career opportunities to you in the future. Don't think that earlier companies are getting closed or jute mill is getting closed. Side by side, new things are all coming up. So you have to just equip yourself. You have to go and get crashed there. By that, your energy will also be fruitfully progressed, and you should also get the proper thing. So by that, I am just concluding my today's maybe little long, maybe boring lecture session, but however, it is a part of the digital session. You cannot really read out the mind of your students, and you cannot really think. However, if you are having any questions, you can ask me. I am just leaving it to you.
Yes, Mr. Saika Chaudhary, you can You can ask your question.
Am I audible to everyone?
Yeah, you are audible to me.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Sorry, good evening, sir. It's almost evening now. So, what do you think? Which is good one to do bootstrapping, like firstly doing job and earning money and then starting a startup company, or going for investors?
Very interesting question. If personally you ask me, personally, I will opt for the first one. But now I'm seeing the tendency, now people are getting the finance, but your proposal, whatever you'll be making to implement, that should have the footprint of all the previous employers and everything. Either you can have that knowledge by yourself, it should be a combination of your both alternative. You should have the full footprint of your say earlier investors in your line. Say you are making shoe, for example. Now you should know all the failure modes, design failure as well as the process failure modes of the shoes. Sorry, for manufacturing. Then you should know the marketing. What are the problems? Will you go in the barter modeling, or you will go to all the stationery shop to keep your thing? Everywhere the failure modes are to be captured, then only it can be decided. If you talk about the decision making, as I am the output of the middle class family, I will always go for the first one, that to have some sort of knowledge for few years, then get into that. But that knowledge should be aligned with that particular line.
Okay, thank you, sir. And one more thing, like suppose a person having an idea, a very innovative idea, but he or she don't know anything about like manufacturing or like how to do business, how to sell the product. So, like, can you just suggest like how that person can start learning about that, like how he or she can do manufacturing and do sales of that product?
A good question again, Shekhar. That is, in short, you have told that manufacturing, sales, he may not be knowing, but he is having a very great idea. So, not to transform that idea into a just idle mind, you must know something about the manufacturing. So, if you have not really got exposed to this manufacturing or the marketing, you need to study. Say, I'm telling you about again my example. I'm basically a marketing person. I was. Now, when I was asked to look after the business as a whole, then I have to learn the finance, I have to learn the manufacturing, I have to learn my customer, I have to interact with the engineering department of the customer. Say, for example, Tata Motors. You have to go to the Tata Motors engineering department to understand what is their pipeline product in the coming, say, 5 years. So you have to ask your engineering department to prepare themselves. Again, I'm telling you, having only the idea that I need to participate to the Tata Motors 7th generation product in this way, that is not sufficient. That is almost sky thinking or roaming. You need to know how. Again, I'm repeating how. That what is that new product? What it does? Does it rotate? Say if it's fan, will it rotate or it will be a bladeless fan? But it will generate the air. You have to have that sort of clarity. Now, how the air can be generated if the blade is not there? You should have that clarity. At least these are the clarifications you require in your mind. Otherwise, you know that, Shrikat, if you know the term that daydreaming, it should not be transformed into daydreaming. You should know the brass tacks of reaching that goal. Otherwise, you will make a number of mistakes. Only idea cannot take you there. You need to know that, you need to see that ladder. You need to see each step, strength of each step. Otherwise, after reaching, say, middle of it, if that particular thing gets broken, then you will fall down again. So you need to have that sort of things. Not necessarily that you should know. You should know by yourself. You should give it to the expert to know. But you should have the report ready on your table before you take a decision to implement that idea. I hope I am clear, Shrikat.
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any more questions from the audience?
Mr. Putlai, this is Professor Amlan Chakraborty. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Thank you very much.
A friend of mine was working with Fort Chennai.
Oh,
His name is Sandeep Moitro. Since you have been working there for a long time,
long time. And Ford was next door company.
and Sandeep was also there in Fort Chennai for a very long time. He had also spent 5 years in Fort China.
Oh, that's great.
He lives in Pune, where you are also living in now. So,
He was in manufacturing in Ford or supply chain management?
supply chain management.
But then I must be knowing him because I used to go almost each and every day.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Since you are closely associated with Fort Chennai.
Once Sandeep Metro was there in Maruti. You were talking about him?
Yes. That's the same.
Metro, he's senior team. I know him very well. I've gone to his house also. He was the general manager or executive director in Maruti.
With your background, I was just saying that you can't miss him. He was.
I know him very well. I call him Moitro Da.
Yeah.
I've gone to his house. He's in right now. I think in IFB.
He's doing something with. He's not doing much now. I mean, mostly living at home.
His house is at Gurgaon.
Yeah, that was this old house when he was with Maruti. But now.
Yeah, I know him very well. I've gone to his house.
Now his house is in Pune. He is a permanent.
Oh, he is relocated in Pune. Oh, okay. I'll call him. I can refer your name.
Certainly.
I will call him. Maybe I'm now in Delhi. I'll be going to Calcutta tomorrow evening. So maybe tomorrow or day after I'll call him. I'll talk about Professor Amlan.
Certainly, you take my reference.
Yeah, sure. I'll tell him about you, and I meet you in one of this my trash lecture. He heard for a long time.
Your lecture was extremely valuable. So the lecture was extremely valuable for the students. And I always tell the students that starting, it is that you have to first fix a goal that I want to do this.
Correct.
You must go for it. And you must be fully dedicated about it.
Conviction, yeah.
I know, before when I was a student, I was a postgraduate student. Then I did a 2 months project with Pico Electronics and Electricals Limited. That was a Philips. So they were making this electrical ballast. So that was in Calcutta, Taratala. I mean, old industry days of West Bengal.
Yeah, Taratala means after Majira you have to take right turn, correct?
Yes, that's right. That's it. So that base bridge station is there. Around the base bridge station, there are a number of industries. So there's that ballast factory of Pico Electricals. That was a very famous one and a very neat one also. Standard. And one Jadavpur student at that time, he had started making a paper bobbin for them. So this factory, they were basically depending on third party manufacturers, ancillary industries. They were only doing the, wiring, the copper wiring around the bobbin, and then fitting all the material in the electronic, the ballast. And this fellow, while he was from his second year itself, he started making that paper bobbin and supplying to Pico.
What is that paper?
Paper bobbin, around which the copper wire is drawn. It's a very small thing, which started...
Very delicate thing.
But he started delivering that to this Pico Electricals, in a very disciplined manner. So
can I just add one thing? Soikat, since you have asked me these questions, I can ask you, request you to do something at your leisure hours, you try to develop the process failure modes for this particular operation.
Can you just repeat what's the operation?
You just ask Professor Chakraborty later and try to develop the process failure mode. That what can go wrong and what are the actions should be taken. This will take you half the thing you will cross in your business thinking. You understand? No?
Definitely.
It is called PFMEA. You can ask Professor Chakraborty later. It is called PFMEA.
This ancillary on industries is a good way to start with.
Yeah.
MSAP, if our students, I have advised my students, if you visit MSME.
Oh, great.
When I was a student, I also had visited MSME. And what happened, ultimately I did not pursue entrepreneurship because of various other reasons.
Yeah.
But
I was forced.
MSME,
I was forced. I can't help it.
MSME has a lot of
I was
market
forced to
surveys.
pursue.
MSME has a lot of market surveys. And
Yeah.
they will give you information about what products has demand in the market.
Yes,
What
true.
products, how much demand is there in
What is the
West Bengal.
severity of failure and what is the repeatability of failure? Yes.
I think first of all, rather than process failures, etc., first thing is market demand. That
Yes,
in the
true.
market, what are you are the marketing person? How much demand is there and how much supply is there? Whenever there is a demand and supply gap, you should go for it.
Correct.
And then
If there is no gap, you have to take care of the existing supply.
Then comes the process failure. If your process is right, if there is a demand supply gap, you are bound to succeed.
Yeah. It's bound to succeed. But the design failure and the process failures are the main two things.
Yes. No, that's important, to take care of the design failures and
And
process.
Ford is a very big learning place, Professor Chakraborty. From Ford we have learned a lot because they share their global knowledge to us. Every month there will be a meeting and they will be sharing that knowledge. Great, nice to know that you also know Moitroda so well.
He is a very good engineer.
Yeah, I know him. I know him
He
very
knows
well.
both electrical and mechanical engineering.
Very sober.
It is nice that we have met and we have found a common friend. That's a big gain.
Next time I'm coming to Calcutta, I'll try to give you a call and try to see.
Certainly, we shall certainly meet.
Yeah, we can both take nice coffee together.
Yes, certainly. So we look forward to it. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, certainly.
Thank you, Mr. Piplai.
Thank you so much. Hopefully, I don't have any other questions left. Madam Sandhya.
Yeah,
Right?
yes, sir. Sir, Saikat Chaudhary, I think you're raising your hand again.
Yeah. Sorry
You can
for
ask, sir.
disturbing
Yeah,
once
it's
more.
okay.
That's
You're
what I
always
do.
welcome to ask.
Yeah. Tell me.
Sir, Tapasa, I have a question. It's not a question. I want your personal opinion. Okay. Currently, I'm having a startup. I don't know whether we can call it a startup or not. Actually, from childhood onwards, I'm quite passionate about electronics. Okay. So while I was in 11th standard, we started a IoT startup. Okay. What we used to do, we used to make some electronic modules and we used to fix in someone's house, and using that they can able to control their lights and fans using their mobile or by giving voice commands. Okay. So now you can say this kind of things already done by Wipro.
Alexa, like Alexa.
Yes. By control, we can control appliances using Alexa or Google Home. Okay. So now you can say this kind of things has already been done by Wipro. But the thing is, they used to make their own gadget. Like if we purchase that Wipro bulb, we can able to control it. But what I used to do, I used to make some electronic modules. We used to install in that house, and they using that module, they can able to use their old appliances. They can use their old appliances as smart appliances. Okay. So, what do you think about this IoT in case of business?
IoT.
Yeah, IoT.
Okay, good. I think, Saikat, my first and foremost humble submission to you, after showing a great respect for your product, that try to develop some sort of IPO. Okay, that is another area of the entrepreneurs. Nowadays, if you are flooded with idea, not always you can go for the marketing. You cannot also go for so many things. Better if Wipro has done something like Alexa, controlling entire thing, it is after selling one or two or 10 or 20, you see the feedback. With that feedback, try to approach Wipro and go for IPO where they will be participating in the major stakes. Finally, they will purchase you. That is different thing. But it is always better to hive off that after some time and go for another technology-driven product.
Okay.
Continuously, that I told you, there are three types of entrepreneur. That one type of entrepreneur is called habitual.
Yeah.
Go into that slot. Don't stay with one product, which I don't know your background. With maybe your Madam Sandhya will be able to throw more light. But if you are not from the house of Kumar Mangalam Birla, it is better you go one after another project.
Okay.
And finally stay in some project where the competition is very weak. Here your competition will be very high tomorrow. Because Alexa has shown this product.
Yes.
When Jeff Bezos has done it, nobody thought about it. But now you see, you are coming to your house, you are asking the AC to be on while in the car. Everything is happening in remote control or in your IoT basis.
Yeah.
So this is what I was telling you, that add this sort of tools in your mainstream project. And don't stay passionately with your own project because you have done it. No, sell it. Come to the other project. Continuously shift yourself.
Okay.
If you want to stay in some project for long, it will be difficult.
Okay.
Good. Nice talking to you, Shekhar.
Okay, thank you, sir.
If you want, you can stay in touch with me. I think your Madam Sandhya will be having my number.
Yes, sir. Surely, sir. Saikat, you're currently studying in which year?
I'm first year.
First year.
Freshers, yeah.
Yes. So,
Too early. You get
That's
yourself
great.
seasoned.
but still, then it's very good. So we will assist you in this process, and we'll also keep in contact with Tapas Piplai sir, so that he can give us more guidance in this respect.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
sir. It was a
Thank
very
you. Thank you so much, Shekhar. Thank you so much, Sandhya. I'm taking your liberty to call you Sandhya here.
Yes,
I
sure,
could
sir.
see that you are
Yes, sure, sir.
even maybe less than my daughter's age.
Yes, sir.
Thank you all.
Sure, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
so we just take few more minutes.
Yeah.
So 1 second, sir.
sorry, once again, sir. I have one more question. If you don't mind, I would like to.
I don't mind. My mind is not here, so you can tell me anything.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I'm a drone enthusiast. Okay, I used to make drones while I was in 8th standard onwards. So I have made a lot of drones, and I have sold also a lot of drones. So we were thinking to do drone delivery. Okay, so can you just suggest me which company we can work with?
You have to give me some time because I've never concentrated much on this drone area.
Okay.
I've only seen it is flying. And nowadays, to the marriage hall, I could see the drones are moving and taking the photographs. I will certainly look into it. And if you can leave through my number, your number, or you can be in touch with Madam Sandhya, we three can have the discussion. I won't mind. But give me some 2-3 days time.
Okay, sir. Definitely. Take your time.
Yes,
No
sir.
issues.
Yes, sir. So we'll come back to you on this, sir. We will be in touch with this.
Certainly.
Sir, I would like to request Professor Amlan Chakravarti, sir, to hand over this token of respect to sir. Sir,
Great. Great. Thank you, Professor Chakravarti. Thank you, all the team.
It is our pleasure.
Oh, great. Thank you. I read it fully. My pleasure too.
So thank you very much. So, I would like to thank Mr. Tapas Piplai sir for giving such a excellent deliberation and encouraging our students to take up entrepreneurship as a career. So, on this onset, I would like to take the opportunity to give the vote of thanks also. So I thank Mr. Tapas Piplai sir, Executive Director and CEO at Capability Enhancement Center, Pune, to for taking time and giving his valuable insights and enlightening our students and faculty with great ideas and sharing his experience. So I also thank the organizing team, Mr. Gautam Roy, Dr. Sumit Chabri sir, Dr. Abhishek Chakrabarti sir, and Mr. Soma Bhattacharya, and Mr. Pallav Datta, and also the entire team of the MHRD IIC section for organizing this event and also contributing to take up uh, a step towards setting up the business and startup ecosystem in our institute. I thank our Honorable Principal Madam, Professor Maitreya Kanjilan Madam, for supporting and always encouraging us to conduct these events. I also thank Mrs. Nidhi Singh Madam, our Registrar, for encouraging us to conduct the event and also encouraging us to take students towards the path of entrepreneurship. I would also like to thank the Vice President of the MHRD IIC section of our institute, Professor Amlan Chakravarti sir, and the Controller section of NIT for always giving us guidance and helping us to conduct these events. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the management of JS Group and our Honorable MD sir, Sardar Taranjit Singh, for always encouraging us to take up these activities and also supporting us to create the innovative activities in the campus. So I thank you everyone and thank you sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes sir, and for all the participants I'll be sharing one link. It is basically for your attendance as well as we have an option in the link that whether you want to go for take up entrepreneurship as a career or not, you have to tell us, and if you have any idea please also put that so that we can carry forward your idea towards startup. So I'm just sharing the link. Just give me few seconds. Please put the attendance as well as if you want to have become if you are interested to take up entrepreneurship as career, please put your ideas and we will contact you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ না আপনি মনে করে দেবো না আমরা আগের বার সেই ওই ইয়ের কাছে গিয়েছিলাম না অপর্ণা ম্যাডামের কাছে গিয়ে সে ডেটটা যদি না ঠিক আছে অপর্ণা ম্যাডামের ডেট দেখে আমি ওটা চেঞ্জ করে দেবো ওটা চেঞ্জ করার ম্যাডাম বলছি ডেটটা ফ্যাক্টর না ডেটটা যদি পরে কোনো কারণে চেঞ্জও হয় আমি চেঞ্জ করে দেবো ওটা করতে বেশিক্ষণ টাইম লাগবে না ওটা নিয়ে চিন্তা করার কিছু নেই ঠিক আছে হ্যাঁ না আপনি আমাকে যে ডেট ওই ডেটে যখন বিওজিতে লিখছিলাম তখন মনে হয় এই ডেটটা বলেছিলেন ওই জন্য আমি এই ডেটটা দিয়েছি হুম ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে